Dylan dunk a piece of his crust into some Coke Zero. So that was pretty bizarre. Hopefully he doesn't do it again while we're here today.
Papa came back from a family trip and then got surgery. I don't know if you can see this. Here we go. Here it is. That's what I got. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. And Cam is back. Very excited. Very excited. So we are CHE. He's lying, by the way. He did miss me. We are CHE, your South Florida personal injury law firm, and we're here to do our weekly recap for the uninitiated. It's where we recap our weeks to give you a view into what it's like to be an owner of a law firm on the rise. To the moon, as they say, to the moon. Anyway, who are we going to start with? John Sullivan, let's start with you. What you been up to this past week, man?
Well, the most interesting thing I saw this week was Dylan dunk a piece of his crust into some Coke Zero. So that was pretty bizarre. Hopefully he doesn't do it again while we're here today.
And this is somebody that doesn't like when other people order for him. So I don't know what he thinks he's doing over here telling me how to eat, but that's John Sullivan.
I don't know. Listen, I'm pretty uncultured when it comes to eating, but dunking pizza crust into Coke Zero, that ain't eating. Anyway, it's been kind of a grind of a week for me. A short week, obviously, for everybody, but it's been kind of a grind. The tort reform, at least the stuff that that's on my plate that's left over from the tort reform, like sprint of filing lawsuits that we had, it's still very much at the forefront of what I'm trying to get on top of. I've whittled it down to about 6 cases that I have left where I still need to go through discovery and get it out for service, but I've put a massive dent in that this week. But it's definitely mentally draining when you spend 20 or 30 minutes going through, okay, the interrogatories, the request for production, the request for admission. All right, I'm done. And then you open the next one and you're starting it all over again, doing the same thing. So it's definitely a mental grind as much as it is, the work grind. But one cool thing I did get to do this week outside of, the ordinary sort of office casework was I got invited back to the public defender's office yesterday or 2 days ago.
I thought you were banned, bro.
I was, but they lifted the moratorium on my presence at the public defender's office. I got invited back to do a training for the Bs and the young As that don't have a lot of experience with homicide cases, and the training that I put on was how to depose the medical examiner. So obviously it's been a couple of years since I've been out of there now. I had to dust off my notes on deposing a medical examiner because it had been a little bit, but it was cool. It was cool to go back there. It was cool to kind of put the criminal hat back on, and I haven't looked at cases through that lens for a while now, but it was cool to go back and help some of the younger lawyers out. The other thing was, I thought I was going to be there for an hour doing this training, and it was like every 5 feet I walked, from the first floor, I'd run into somebody else I hadn't seen for over a year. So it was cool to kind of catch up with a lot of people. And I ended up going out and having lunch with some old colleagues, so it was cool. It was fun to kind of get out of the ordinary work routine, and I was back at it today. So, put a good dent in some work. Hopefully when I come here next week, tort reform will be behind me. So that's what I've been up to. Hey, sweet backwards hat, what have you been up to?
So I guess to kind of piggyback on what John's been dealing with, because I'm the head of Civil ERU, the past couple weeks, just to kind of get ahead and make sure that we have everything moving in the right direction to finish the year strong in the back half of the year. We got that influx of about, I think we filed 62 cases in that 3-day period for the tort reform stuff. And obviously Cam and I were in trial during that period, whatever, so it's kind of like getting up to speed.
And I don't know if you guys know, you went on vacation after that. You kind of still get
I 100% went on vacation after that. But what I had to do is go through the entire caseload for the entire firm, then just kind of prioritize the value of cases that maybe have been sitting a little bit longer than others, cases perhaps that maybe deserve a little bit more attention just based on where the client is on their treatment cycle and things like that, and get all that stuff for the guys that are in production. And John happens to be the head of the litigation department, and so now he's really kind of on his end putting all that stuff into motion, and then just kind of prioritizing those cases as we're moving them forward to kind of finish up the year. So it was a lot of that in conjunction with working with some of the people that some of our staff to call up all of our clients to get just kind of a treatment status on how they're feeling, when the last time they went to go get treated was, do they need any additional treatment, and any other type of information that we need to kind of help them and help their case, because at the end of the day our clients are really the most important part of the case, and without them and without the information that they provide, we're really kind of paralyzed in terms of instilling value in the case. So it was a lot of that, and then this week, a lot of it was, tallying up all the medical bills for all those cases that we prioritize so that I'm able to kind of negotiate effectively in the coming weeks so we can kind of get rid of some of these bottlenecks, because there are cases there that we had to put into litigation so quickly to preserve their value from the tort reform that perhaps are going to be ripe for settlement, that these adjusters actually are going to be willing to settle. But we need to make sure that the numbers and that our client and stuff like that are getting the love that they deserve. And that's pretty much it. So got that handled this past week, and just trying to keep the momentum going forward. On a non-legal related note, my hip is feeling a whole hell of a lot better from that nasty spill I took a couple weeks ago. I was a little concerned that
nasty spill.
Yeah, I was a little concerned that it wasn't going to come back, but no, we're good. We're good. So tonight going back to hockey. So that's pretty much it. Igor, what about you? What'd you get up to?
So this week was a lot of what felt like endless meetings for me. Bookkeeping meeting to make sure the trust account is where it needs to be, and staff meetings, and like training meetings. So I don't even know. I lost track of how many different meetings.
Come on, I just have to say, Igor and I were in one of these meetings together today, and if you ever want to see fucking two lawyers do math, we were in this thing for 3.5 hours, and it felt like we were in a black hole.
Yeah, it was gnarly. I mean, just today alone, I probably spent 5.5 hours out of 8 in meetings.
Yeah,
but it's fine.
He's gonna get through it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like that meme where like the dog is like with the cup of coffee and everything's on fire. It's fine. No, I'm just kidding. It's good. I like it. A lot of those meetings have a lot of leverage. A lot of those meetings allows us to put stuff in motion that really helps the clients and helps the firm. So it's fine. It's not a big deal. And then I did some legal work. I have a fee hearing tomorrow on a case. We'll see what happens there. I had a client meeting. I met with a buddy of ours up in Broward. It's a good friend of mine, and he runs a firm out there. And we hung out for a couple hours and just talk business and stuff. So it was a pretty busy week, and I think a pretty productive week. We rolled out a new policy now for how the review process works in the firm, so that should be pretty good. We did that this week, and we have Sean, who's now officially not onboarding anymore, so she's officially on the job, and so there's a lot of good changes that come with that, a lot of good ideas and a lot of good systems to be built, and so I don't know, it's been a productive week. It's been a good week so far. What about you, Kim?
Well, Papa came back from a family trip and then got surgery. So it's been a hell of a fucking 2 weeks. I don't know if you can see this. Here we go. Here it is. That's what I got. That happened on Thursday. I got back from the family trip on Tuesday. Wrong. I went to Colorado for my brother's graduation from medical school, which is super cool. And so my kids got to see my brother graduate. He actually gave a speech at the graduation, which was pretty cool. And I got to bring a whole bunch of Cubans to Colorado, so it was an interesting culture shock. But it was good. We saw the mountains, we saw some snow, we got altitude sickness, and we had a general good time. And then now I'm just recovering from the surgery, and at the same time trying to build a marketing department bit by bit. One of those meetings today that Igor was very excited about was with this guy, in which he made comparisons to wastelands and building western towns. So, take that for what that is. But yeah, this week, I guess what I did mostly was I did a lot of legal work moving fee hearings forward, and so I got most of my work I got to do on that out of the way. Although, leave it to insurance companies to agree to pay you attorney's fees to settle the case, and then once the case is settled, file a motion saying they don't have to pay you attorney's fees. So there's that. Anyway, that's been it. I'm looking forward to getting back into the office because right now I've been working from home because of the surgery. But next week I'll be back, and I'm looking forward to starting up a new sprint and making the end of quarter 2 something to be proud of. So.
Yeah. You know what? I did forget too. I actually settled the
case.
You
got more?
I settled the case this past week. In fact, I just got the deposit of the money.
That's right. He settled my case. He settled my case.
Exactly.
I think it's Cam's. Cam, get a copy.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Oh, you get a high five too. Good job. Igor, I don't want to leave you out. There you go. So, that's the long and the short, ladies and gents. So that's it. Let's. I don't have a beer because Papa's recovering, and if you drink alcohol while you're recovering, it slows your recovery down. So, that's what I got. Salud.